Welcome back to another training with Blue Equinox. This is Baron Solomon, and we're going to be talking today about different question types that you can use on your appointments and in your prospecting and when you're talking about potential deals to uncover the true potential in an opportunity and to make sure that you're addressing all of your clients' needs. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump in. So the most important thing that you can learn as a salesperson is how to ask open-ended questions. It makes your job significantly easier if you can get the client or the partner talking about themselves, their business, their IT infrastructure, their needs, their current problems. All of those can be addressed, obviously. But the only way for us to get information about a client or their business or a partner or their current setup is to ask open-ended questions that require some response on their end. So, for example, you're going to be looking for questions that are lead-ins. Tell me more about your IT infrastructure services. Help me understand how you handle disaster recovery today. What is your decision-making process to choose an IT services provider? These are questions that are going to require a more detailed response, and detail is your friend in these scenarios. This is going to be something where you're going to be looking for a maximum amount of information to help you do your job more effectively. Obviously, we all would feel better if we went in with as much information as possible, and this is the best way to do that. So make sure that you're asking open-ended questions. Spend some time on this slide. Spend some time writing out your own open-ended questions that you can ask when you go on your prospecting appointments and when you're talking to potential customers to help you understand better exactly what it is that they need and uncover the full opportunity. That's something that needs to be said. When you are asking open-ended questions, you may get information out of the customer that you had no idea there was an opportunity for. You may be there to talk strictly about their internet access, and they may mention something about a phone system in their talks about their lack of bandwidth. And there, you've uncovered a hosted PBX opportunity that you didn't know you had before. So once again, you want to make sure that in your prospecting and in your initial appointments that you are asking almost exclusively open-ended questions. Obviously, you do have to ask some closed-ended questions, but most of the time those are used to clarify, to confirm facts, or to verify information that they've given already, that they've provided you. You want to make sure that you are using these to finalize information that you believe you have. The worst thing you can possibly do is make an assumption and be wrong and then present the customer with pricing that they may not need or may not desire. So use your closed-ended questions to simply specify and understand fully exactly what they are looking for. So there are other types of questions that you can use when you are prospecting to help you relate to the customer, but in addition to that, to also help you understand more fully the opportunity. So you want to ask questions that are about controllable issues, things that they can understand. Tell me about your IT outsourcing plans. What functions are you looking to outsource? That is a very specific question about something inside their organization that they can control. It's something that is going to be pertinent to what they are trying to do. If they're speaking to you, an IT consultant, they obviously will have some information about that. Now, you can also ask questions about uncontrollable issues, things that are going to get them thinking. For example, obviously the economy is something that we have listed here. Another example would be a trade organization. So for example, in the hospitality vertical, you're going to bump into hotels who have to comply in accordance with nationwide brand requirements. These are uncontrollable things. So if you happen to walk into a Holiday Inn Express, you can speak to them about the IHG requirements to move up to a minimum of 30 megs of fiber. That is an uncontrollable issue that you can ask them how they are addressing. You can ask an open-ended question. What are your plans? How do you plan to address the requirement to move up to 30 megs from IHG? That can lead you into an opportunity right there. But remember, you want to go in having fully researched the opportunity, understanding what some controllable and uncontrollable issues are that affect those particular type of clients. You also want to ask controllable and uncontrollable questions that are pertinent to what they have going on. So here are examples of several different types of controllable and uncontrollable questions that you can scroll through. Feel free to stop on this slide to gather some information from these. Feel free to steal these, use as many as you want, but just think before you walk into an opportunity. Have done your research already and know what types of controllable and uncontrollable questions you should potentially ask. So the next thing that you want to do is ask questions that really make them think about what would happen to their business if they don't have a great answer. So the examples that you see down there at the bottom, I'm going to kind of expand on those a little bit. What would be the consequences of you having a total data outage? This is something that we use in disaster recovery quite frequently when we're selling disaster recovery. It takes advantage of one of the 4 factors of impulse, which is fear of loss. So what are the consequences? How serious would it be if your internet went down for an extended period of time? These are things that get business owners thinking about exactly what a dollar amount would be, what the actual cost would be to them if they were to have one of these issues inside their organization. So you can use these to primarily instill fear into individuals who are thinking about ordering services or who you are prospecting to in the first part of the conversation. So use these as you will. Make sure that you are asking these types of questions. These questions help you steer the conversation. These questions help you steer the conversation. They put you in the saddle. You are driving what is happening, and it's something where you're going to have an individual who is going to be looking at you a lot of times with their jaw wide open because they've never thought about these things before. It makes you seem extremely knowledgeable as a consultant, and it's going to do a lot to help you build rapport with the customer. So obviously, we've got the next couple of slides here that are going to be a combination of what we've been talking about so far. So obviously we've got these next couple of slides where we have compiled some questions that are going to be very pertinent to what you've learned. It's going to be some open-ended statements, some closed-ended questions, some business-specific controllable and uncontrollable questions. You're going to be able to scroll through these at your own pace. I'm going to let you pause the video if you want to spend some more time on these individual slides. I'm going to just bump right through the next 3 slides just because there's a lot of information on there and most of it is reading. But again, feel free to pause the video, stop, write any of these questions down that you want to steal, or just kind of gather from them to help you make up your own questions in the future. Okay, so what's the purpose of asking these questions? What's the purpose of asking good questions? Obviously, for you as a consultant, it is for you to be able to establish a needs assessment of exactly what a customer or a potential customer needs, and be able to take that back, get the appropriate pricing, build an appropriate solution for the customer, and take that back to them and show them the value that we've been promising. So you want to make sure that you're uncovering and assessing the appropriate needs of the customer. You are the consultant. You want to be the one asking the questions that's leading to the pertinent information that they're going to need to make the best decision possible. You also want to make sure that you understand the marketplace for their business, that you understand the size of their business, what what you think they would need to be able to make good recommendations to keep them up to date with the latest technology, or to cut costs, or to keep them in with federal regulations to bolster their disaster recovery. Whatever they need, you want to make sure that you're asking the appropriate questions to uncover exactly what the full opportunity is. So, as you can see down there at the bottom, this is something that definitely needs to be said right now. As you're asking these questions, especially the open-ended questions, listen, listen, listen. You can learn more and sell more by listening than you can by talking a lot of times. Because what's going to happen is, as you're sitting there quietly listening, they're going to keep talking and talking, and you're going to hear more and more opportunity. And that is going to lead to you closing bigger and bigger deals, which means more and more money. So you want to make sure that as you're asking these open-ended questions and beginning to assess the needs, you want to make sure that you are absolutely 100% listening to exactly what the customer has to say. So, you want to make sure that you are walking down the path to have the customer speaking as much as possible, using those business-specific, targeted, open-ended questions to help them realize exactly what they need and to help you realize exactly what the opportunity is. So, this is kind of general business issue questions. We spoke about this before. This is just more of a follow-up on what we have already spoken about in regards to business specific questions that are going to be open-ended, that are going to allow for conversation. So you definitely want to make sure that you're using these. Again, you want to make sure that you're using your questions to confirm exactly what you think the customer needs, because you are going to be taking this information back to reassess their needs and to generate a designed quote for their particular business. So you want to make sure that you're asking questions all the way through. You want to be as thorough as possible. Many times you get busy over the course of your day, and you really don't want to devote all of the time that you need in order to understand exactly what the need is. You feel like you've got a good handle on it, so you're just going to go back and take it and run with it. Well, if you will actually take the time to fully ask questions all the way to the bitter end and really understand the opportunity, your closing percentage will go up, because people then feel like, hey, this guy's got my back. He's on my side. He may not have understood it first, but he absolutely asked the appropriate questions to get clarification to help us out. So I think that this is definitely something that everybody needs to understand how to do, is to be confident enough to ask the question that you need to ask to get the information that you need to have. So, once you've confirmed exactly what the needs are, it's your job as a consultant to be able to steer the customer through which ones are the most important. So if you have a customer who's moving mission critical applications via the internet, they're accessing their CRM tools and their customer logins, all of that good information via the web. If they're having internet issues, that is a 911 emergency. However, if they are having television issues, if they can't get one of their channels, that's not something that you need to be prioritizing as a heavy need for this individual. You want to make sure that you are doing your job to assess exactly what it is that's most pertinent for the customer. So, you just want to follow up. You want to make sure that you're asking the appropriate questions. You also want to make sure that you have a good understanding of the 3 buckets of IT so that you can ask good questions there as well. But mainly what you want to do, in recap, is ask good, open-ended questions that are going to get the customer talking. You need to listen to determine exactly what the opportunity is, confirm what that opportunity is, and then ask the questions that are going to get you the follow-up appointment and put the customer at ease before you leave. So this has been the training on questions, what types of questions to have with Blue Equinox. I appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you next time.